I want to introduce you to a truly Renaissance Chicana woman, a real woman. Please help me welcome Josefina Lopez. Josefina!
We're so still doing it. We're still here.
We are still doing
we're
it.
On us in this industry. And despite all the rejection, we're still here telling our truth, sharing our stories.
25 plus years. We are cooking with gas. But you're really cooking with gas. Yes. So I want to start off, first of all, by thanking you. Thanking you for all that you've done for our community. Because you are not only a playwright, a screenwriter, an author, a cook, a chef, a mother, a certified life coach with other certifications. But you have given back consistently to East LA for the last Boyle Heights for the last 20 some years.
That's right.
That you really started giving back early in your career. You didn't wait till one day when I
make it.
You were really hitting it immediately. It's not an easy feat what you have done, and not there are people that start out to do good, but then they get burned out. But you have been so consistent, and I remember going to see you at the little theater, and you took what was in your hand and you made it work.
That's right.
Some people would say, well, I'm not going to start in a storefront theater. And you said, I'm starting in a storefront and it's going to kick butt.
Well, what's so great about theater is that all you need are two people, a person to tell the truth and one person to witness it. And theater can be done anywhere. So to me, I didn't come with you need lights and costumes. To me, it's no. We want to tell the truth and we want people to see it and witness it, and theater can happen anywhere. And that's how come to me starting in a storefront is no. This is a location that will not intimidate people. That the community can say, oh, okay, let's go in. It's not like a stuffy theater that makes you feel like you're an outsider, like you don't belong. It's a little space that anyone can walk in and be like, oh, okay, yeah, this theater is like this. Wow, theater's for me.
So you started Little Casa, and then you decided it was time for the big house. Casa 0101. And while you were still at Little Casa, you were starting your writing classes with people.
I started playwriting workshops, and some of our plays have come out of those workshops.
Do you remember your first class?
I do, because no one came. And I was like, oh my God, it's a free writing class. How come no one wants to? And then luckily one lady showed up late. She was my very first student, and I was so grateful that she came. And then I was like, wait a minute, the cashier at the liquor store next door said she wanted to take a class. Let me go get her. So I had two students, and then we just did writing exercises, and that was the beginning. I didn't come from oh my God, everybody's gonna come learn from me. It was more like, okay, whoever shows up is exactly who you need to help. Or even just not even, I don't come from the approach of people are broken and I gotta fix them. It's more like, no, whoever shows up, they're showing up because they wanna discover that they are powerful. And I just want to guide them to understand their story. Because so much of healing for me is helping people understand the drama that they live in, that they create. Because that's what I learned. So much of drama is the trauma that you project out into the world that you're not even aware of. So I tell people how you created the trauma, how you can heal it, how you can silence. I mean, so it's also a spiritual class.
The childhood issues.
Yeah, because I tell people happy people who have no trauma are not writers. They're having a good time. They're having a calm, simple experience because they're taking a break from other past lives where they had too much trauma. So the people that come to writing classes, I tell people, look, you're right. You're here because you have a trauma that's at least 10 years old that wants to be heard. That wants to be expressed, that wants to be healed. And then people look at me and I said, no, I am somewhat psychic, but I can guarantee you that what you want to write is about a moment where you got stuck in life. And it usually happened around the age of 5 and 6. I do these series of exercises where people find out the themes of their stories, and by finding out the themes of the stories, I can tell you what happened, what was the trauma at 5 years old. So I'm at the point where I go, oh, let me tell you what your screenplay is about. The inciting incident is age 5. Let me tell you what a turning point is, age 12. Let me tell you another turning point, age 18 to 21. And let me tell you what the theme is, the theme of this, and let me tell you why. Part of it is because in your past life, You did horrible things, and now you're paying the karma in this lifetime. People look at me and I go, I know, like after doing this for so long, I go, let me just give you all this information because instead of you searching for 10 years trying to figure out what you're writing about, I'm just going to tell you. And then you really can get to the work.
It seems to me like there had to be a vision or a goal that you go, okay, I got this, and I want something bigger.
I've always wanted to start a theater in my own community because I wanted to empower people to tell their own stories. So for me, the vision was we're going to nurture the future storytellers of Los Angeles who will someday transform the world. My dream has always been like, let's tell our stories, Latinos, all the stories that are not being made on film or TV. Let's do it for ourselves. And then again, at that time, I wasn't aware, but I said, because we need to acknowledge all the wounding, but also all the successes. The American history books have denied that TV and this mainstream denies. We're going to acknowledge everything that's real.
One of the programs that you started was Chicanas, Cholas, y Chisme.
You know, in theater, just like in Hollywood, in the film industry, it's male dominated. Right? Majority of the playwrights and producers are male. So it's 80%. And so then I said, oh my God, like we've been doing all this amazing work celebrating Latinos and women, but the majority of the directors are men. And it was something that I was blind to because, you know, we had no budget. So for me, a lot of the people that I hired were friends who basically understood, look, you've got to work under ridiculous conditions and still do a great job. And then I said, oh my God, you know, it's not enough that we tell women's stories. Women have to be a part of the creative process. You know, and here I am, the artistic director. I can do something about it.
Did you start that once you got into the new building, or you were still doing it
in the new building?
Okay.
Yeah, we came to the Big Casa in 2009.
But all together, you're in your 18th year. You started in 2000.
Well, in 2000, yeah.
Okay.
You know, programming started in 2002. September 9, 2011 is when we officially opened the big space. So so I was realizing that we needed women directors. But the very few women directors I knew, like, were Ivy League trained, and they charged a lot of money, and I couldn't afford them. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start a women's directing class, and I'm going to teach it because I know how to direct. I don't direct because I'm busy doing everything else. You know, I'm a producer, I'm an artistic director, I'm a mother and activist, so that's why I don't direct. But I said, but I can teach women how to direct. And so I created this series where I invited all these male directors who I knew to come talk about their process. And then at the end I said, okay, now that we have these women, we need to get material that they can direct. It's like simple short stories to get their feet wet, you know? And then there was a playwriting class that had all these amazing women playwrights. And there was one particular playwright who was an ex-chola from Venice. Her name is Lindsay Haley, who was a veterana, right? And I loved her play because it was about two cousins. One grew up, they both grew up in the barrio, but one left to the suburbs and tried to acculturate and pass for white and basically try to have an easy life. And the other one was like, stay true to her roots and was in the hood. And they had some kind of breakup because there was some kind of drive-by. They basically like put one of the sons in prison and the other one got blamed. You know, a very complicated story, But I said, oh my God, this is an amazing story. We need to tell it because it really serves the mission of this theater. So then we said, okay, I had written so much material that I said, okay, do this. And then we basically scrambled for material. We did the first presentation. It was very successful. And then we said, but wait a minute, we should have a workshop now where we have these women directors work with the playwrights or can also write their own material. So we started this program to mentor Latinas to write, direct, and produce. And we did it again, and it was very successful because as soon as you tell one woman, like, oh my God, you know, like you empower her. Yeah, she basically tells her story.
That's it.
She invites her family, and her community comes, and it becomes a celebration of these women telling their stories. So we would sell out, and we're like, oh my God, we sold out. So we've done it for 6 years now, and it's our most successful production because women bring their community.
What time of year do you do that?
So we usually do it in March, which is Women's History Month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically the whole month of March and some of April, like 4 to 6 weeks on the weekends, and it's just been wonderful.
And when does the program starts in March, or you start
The program
showing the plays
starts
in March?
in September.
Oh, okay.
The writing goes for about 3 months.
Okay.
And then we choose the plays from.
Oh, that's
from that.
fantastic.
And then in January we start casting, and then we start directing and producing, and we teach women a lot of the skills they need so that they can, so that they don't have to produce it here. They can say, look, I have the skills, I can go produce it at other theater companies. And I go, yeah.
So another thing that Casa
01
does is browning out.
Yes, I started a playwriting workshop, and in this workshop, I start to see that there was a pattern of seeing like LGBTQ writers writing about how they were the perfect immigrant son for their immigrant parents, but at night they would have this double life where they would get to be gay. And so I thought about how tragic it is to have to live a double life, that you can't really be whole, that you're divided. So then I said, oh, well, we should do a festival to celebrate being LGBTQ so that other people can see that, look, you can be a whole person. There's nothing wrong with you. God didn't make a mistake. You know, when people tell me da-da-da-da, I go, you know what? Do you believe in God? I say, yeah. Do you think God made a mistake 10% of the time? Because if 10% of the population is gay, or, you know, then God, does the God screw up 10% of the time? And they're like, oh, I go, well, then, you know what? Maybe there's a purpose we don't understand, or maybe one of the lessons that we are going to learn is that we are not our bodies. We are our spirit. You know, that's really who we are. And this is one lesson that we're learning for the LGBTQ community. The other thing, too, that I want to tell people, the reason why we celebrate that is because I go, you know what? Majority of people have sexual shame. I know this because as an empath, I feel, I don't know if you feel this, but when I pick up on it, it's like snakes, energy snakes. I mean, in Hollywood, you feel tons of men. There's so much sexual shame that I feel like, you know what, if we can tell stories where people get to express themselves and celebrate their sexuality in whatever way it's organically coming out of them, and, you know, whatever, then I think it's wonderful, because we need to eradicate sexual shame, because it's the worst kind of, we need to eradicate shame, but sexual shame is the lowest energy. So then to me, I go, you know what, we will live in a better world where people stop being ashamed of being sexual human beings, because our sexuality is connected to our creativity.
Yes.
You know, I think I scare the hell out of people because I'm so comfortable talking about sex and being a sexual being, and also being extremely creative, because I see the connection between the two.
Well,
you know,
because you're honest.
And I'm honest, and I
You're
go,
honest.
you know what? And more than even honest, I'm authentic and real, which sometimes scares the hell out of men, because they're like, oh my God, we've never met someone this assertive about sex, and they think I'm psycho. I go, no, I'm not psycho. I'm just a real woman.
So you started these programs. So you got Brown and Out, you got Chicanas, Cholas, and Chisme. You also had the Boyle Heights Latinas.
Latina Independent Film Extravaganza,
Yes.
BH Life, yeah.
And so you had to stop it because of funding.
And, you know, I could come up with 100 programs that we need, you know, to help heal the community. But yeah, we don't have. My husband, who's the executive director, is always telling me, where are we getting the money, right? Because the idea behind that was that we wanted to have a film festival of movies that were directed by women. We really wanted to be a platform, and it was wonderful. We did it like 4 times, and we need to get funding, and we need a director. And right now, you know, we're struggling financially.
So let's talk about money. You have taken this and really created something wonderful. And for people who have not been down here, who live in Los Angeles, they need to do a trip. They need to come and see theater. They need to see this incredible space, because the theater is beautiful.
Thank you.
Your theater rivals a lot of theaters in Hollywood. You know, the small 99.
Actually, we are one of the best theaters in Los Angeles as far as technology. We're a state-of-the-art theater that's comparable to the Red Cat, which they have,
which is beautiful.
They have
Yes.
tons more money than
Yes.
we do. So people are shocked that we have a 99-seat theater that has this incredible technological capacity, and it's also a great space.
It's a gem in Boyle Heights, first of all. Then you have a wonderful museum.
That's right. I started the Boyle Heights
Museum.
Museum. And on our walls in the hallway is an exhibit right now commemorating the 50th anniversary of the walkouts, you know, in East Los Angeles and Boyle Heights.
And we declare that you will get a Victorian house.
That's right.
Near here.
Near here.
That you can house the
There-
whole
there's my museum. Yeah.
So you got this incredible space, beautiful theater. I'm going to say it again. It's a beautiful theater. Then last year you opened up an incredible restaurant, Casa Fina.
That's right. Yeah, we opened a restaurant, my husband and his partner. We wanted to open this restaurant so that we could get the profits and use the profits to pay for Casa. Well, it's very challenging to open a restaurant when I found out, you know. It's like, now it's 2 big babies that we got to take care of. It's like overwhelming.
Okay, you're getting ready to celebrate the first anniversary of Casa Fina.
That's right. And we're doing it Cinco de Mayo, and I purposely chose Cinco de Mayo because I want it to be a celebration every year. It's 1842 East 1st Street, which is only about 2.5 blocks away from the theater. We purposely did that so people could go have dinner there first and then come see a show.
And what do you have planned?
Well, we're going to have discounts on drinks, but we're also going to do loteria with prizes. We'll probably be singing rancheras because it'll be that kind of party where You know it's a great party when Mexicans start singing rancheras.
There
That's
you
how
go.
you know.
And so when we come for Cinco de Mayo, what kind of food should we get?
Well, we have authentic Mexican cuisine. So, what everyone usually gets is like, like the margaritas and the guacamole, but we have everything. There's some certain dishes that take a long time that those we don't have because like barbacoa, if you're really going to do it right, it's like 8 hours in a pit in agave, and it's very complicated. So those dishes we sometimes serve them as specials. Like for Mother's Day, we're going to have some specials like that.
Oh, nice.
But everything else, we have just about everything that you can think of.
When is it open? Daily?
So it's Monday through Friday. We actually open 7 days a week, and it's 11 a.m. to 9 Monday through Thursday. And then Saturday we serve breakfast, more like brunch.
On the weekends?
On the weekend, yeah. Saturdays and Sundays we open at 9 a.m. On Saturdays we close at midnight. And then Sundays, and again, if the party's going really great, then we'll keep it open, right? But Sundays we close at 9. Fridays is from 11 to midnight.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
Okay.
So we basically want people to go have dinner, come back here, and if they're really inspired, go to the cantina and talk about the play, or to also for actors to go over there and hang out, because in this neighborhood everything kind of closes early.
Yes.
So we're like, oh no, we need a place that could stay late so that people can just walk over and talk to their friends who they've seen in a show, or just people to connect.
This space is to give back to the community, but you can't give back if you don't have the money to keep it open. For people listening out there, how can we help you continue the vision?
So we are asking for people to become monthly reoccurring donors. And what that means is you give us $25 a month and we can pay for our rent, our electricity, the insurance, and all the basics just to keep the building open. Because, people say, well, why didn't you get a grant? And I go, we've applied for tons of grants, but a lot of grants, they want to give you money for children's programming, which is great. But nobody wants to pay for the building. No one wants to pay for an administrator. No one wants to pay for anything that's not sexy. Because helping children and saving children, everyone wants to do it. But it's like, well, how do we create all this programming for children if we don't have someone to administrate this program, or we don't have a place to house it? So that's the challenge, is that there's a deficit in these areas of the basics. We offer free acting classes for children. We offer, majority of the programming for children is free, and everything else is by donation. So part of the reason we do that is because we want to keep the arts accessible. People say, well, why don't you just charge more money? I don't want to do that because I want to keep it affordable. The income here is very small compared to the West Side, so to me, it's like I want people to be able to afford to go to the theater, because it's already seems inaccessible.
It changes your mission and your vision of what you want.
And then the other thing that people tell us is, oh, why don't you get subscribers? And I go, you know what? Unfortunately, a lot of our community here doesn't understand that, or doesn't have the means to get a subscription for the whole.
So here's the challenge I'm going to give to those of you listening, that you would give a minimum of $50 a month to help keep this place alive, because this is ours. This is not the cat. This is not the Geffen. This is ours. This woman has taken it upon herself to put it out there for this community, and this is our community. We can talk about how Hollywood we want, but Hollywood is not giving us anything. As an artistic community, we need to rally around you and help you so that the vision that you had, which was to give free programming to kids, teenagers, adults, to learn craft, which no one is doing for our community.
Yeah.
We need to be regular givers, monthly givers, with a minimum of $25.
Minimum of $25.
I think we could do $50.
Yeah. And if you can't be a monthly recurring donor, you could just make a one-time donation.
And you can also come in and volunteer.
Yes, come and volunteer.
That's another necessity.
And if not, just buy tickets. We're presenting Beauty and the Beast, right? And it's a beautiful, diverse cast. It's so diverse. And it's an opportunity also for people of color to be in Broadway musicals and get the experience, so that someday they can be
Heights.
We did in the
Recently,
Heights.
You've also done Shakespeare.
And
I know
Aladdin.
you had Robert
Yeah.
Beltran
That's
directing.
right. That's right. Julius Caesar. And we had women in the lead roles.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
Being in Hollywood for close to 40 years, I have heard time and time and time again how nobody's helping Latinos. Well, it's for us to help ourselves. No one is going to help us. Put your money into a community that is going to benefit. Give this organization the money so that they can do these incredible programs. You know, we need more Latino voices, but if they're not being trained, if they're not being groomed, if they're not being educated, we can't have what we say we want. So this is a great space. She's willing to teach. So get up, go to your computer, casa0101.org. They need it now. They need it now. She's done an excellent job for the last 18 years, but now is the time for the community to give back, make a difference with our people. And if you can't give, support in other ways. Volunteer, buy tickets, post on all your social media. Every time, you know, go on the website and see what they're doing and put the word out, because it's also word of mouth. You know, if we put word of mouth and we make this the place to be, everybody wins. Everybody wins. You can help support Josefina's theater, Casa 0101, by going to casa0101.org. That's all I have for you today. Until next time, #keep common sense.